Hello everybody, welcome back to the 80slashers.com YouTube channel. In today's video, I thought we would take a look at the New York Ripper, a film from Lucio Fulci. So this is a really interesting film. Now, before I get into it, well, first off, spoilers. Like I said, I am like when I talk about these films, might be some minor spoilers. I'm not going to get into any major plot details, but I like to put up some pictures, so there might be some, minor spoilers in that regard. But yeah, just fair warning. Now this film, I had never seen this film before. This was I just recently bought this a little while back, and it was my first time watch, which is kind of crazy for me because this film is one. There's like three or four films that it's like been like I've been waiting like probably 30, maybe 31, 32 years to watch these films. And what I mean was when I was a kid, when I used to go to like even before the days of Blockbuster, just like the mom and pop, you know, gas station rental stores, we used to rent the VHS tapes. The horror section, there was always a few titles that it seems that I always saw, and I always would just stare at the box covers. And I was never allowed to, as a 7, 8, 9, 10 year old, I was never allowed to rent these movies, but they just captivated me. And this was one of them. This cover for me is just so, it's just ingrained in my mind because I saw it no matter where I went, it seemed. It was just like part of my childhood was seeing this cover, and I always want to see it. And I don't, it's just one of these titles I never got around to seeing. Um, and in the same way for the Blu-ray, I don't know why it took me so long to pick this up. It was one of those things. It just was never the right price, the right time. It just never worked out for me. Since then, this Blu-ray has gotten from Blue Underground. They released a 4K remaster Blu-ray, 3-disc Blu-ray set, which was like $50. And then they recently released a 4K UHD disc itself. And because of those two releases, this one just dropped in price. I picked this up for like $15 or something super cheap. So 15 for this, 50 for the other ones. Up here in Canada, for me, that's what it would cost. So yeah, this was a no-brainer for me. So anyway, I'm super happy to finally get to watch this. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew what people talked about it, and it says it here, the most controversial horror film ever made. And it's I get it. After watching it, I get it. I get why this film was so controversial. It was actually banned in the UK up until 2002. You weren't allowed to watch or own or rent this film until 2002 in the UK. Um, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty extreme. So I always heard the rumors and the people talking about this film. So I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh, how bad could it be? Um, and we'll get to it. We will get to that. But first, the the plot of this film. Basically, this is kind of a well. It's a police procedural basically. So there's like a cop. There's in New York City, there's a serial killer going around killing young, attractive women, and there's a cop assigned to the case. He's trying to track down the killer. And he enlists the help of like a university professor who's like an expert in psychological behavior for like serial killers and whatnot. So the two of them are kind of on the case, and it kind of turns into a cat and mouse game when the killer, knows the detective is hunting, like looking for them. So they start, taunting the police officer, and it just goes from there. And that's the type of it's very police procedural, but with an Italian feel because like I said, this is an Italian film, and it's actually I would say it's equal part slasher, equal part giallo. There's a lot of elements that's very giallo. Like I said, even just like with the lead detective, like that's something that a lot of giallos did. Like someone is investigating and trying to catch the killer. But yeah, it has it has a really typical Giallo feel, but it's way more violent and way more sleazy. So even though like it's definitely a slasher film, it's not your typical American 80s type of slasher film. It's very unique. Yeah, like I would say it's more slasher than Giallo, but not your typical slasher, if that makes sense. It's unique. There's not too many films I can even think of that there's quite like this. Um, so yeah, so this film, this film's sleazy. Like it, this is such a sleazy film, and I love it for that. And that's why it's controversial. Like people, this came out in well, it came out in 1982. I didn't even mention this. This is from 1982, so I can imagine in 82 when this came out. Like I get it why people are just like we can't. This film is terrible. We can't we can't have this film in the video stores and the theaters. It's super sleazy. It really captures at this time like New York City, you know, the 42nd Street area, you know, with all like the adult theaters and the live sex shows. That there's actually like a performance of like a live sex show in this. Like it's probably simulated, but that's you know that's the type of thing they're capturing that side of the city in the early 80s. It's yeah, it's super grimy, super sleazy, and it's funny. This is 82. I swear this is like the Italian stepsister film to Maniac. That's how it feels to me. Like I feel like Fulci probably watched Maniac 1980 and 1981, and he's like, I can do that. I want to make a film in New York, that sleazy type, and it's they're very that's the closest film to this, except you know, Maniac is the American style, and this is the Italian style. So that's, you know, if you like Maniac, you're gonna like this. They're very similar in some regards. Okay, so um, this film here is this has the most mean spirited like misogynistic kills I've ever seen. The man, the kills in this are just they're brutal, and it like I said, it's not just the violence shown on screen, which is bad, but it's just the tone of the kills, like the feeling of them, like the anger and the just like the mean spiritedness behind like what the killer is doing to these women. It's brutal. Again, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but there's some things like a woman um, it has like with like a broken there's a broken wine bottle used as a weapon, and it is used against between her legs. Like the broken wine bottle is put up between her legs, and it shows it. And it's a little long. It's a little the scene's a little extended using this thing, and it's brutal, man. It's really rough to watch. There's a really infamous scene in this. Um, you know, say all these films, I always feel like there's one kill or one moment that really is just like the main event. And in this film, there's a scene with like a razor blade, you know, like when you put in like the safety, like the two-way safety razors, like a razor blade. And the killer uses this thing to dice up a woman, and it's really graphic. It's really, it's kind of hard to watch. I'll be honest. I'm for these type of things. I'm the more twisted, the more demented. That's what I like. That's you know that's my thing. So for me, it didn't bother me, but I'm not gonna lie. It made me kind of go "Ugh," a little. Like it made me yeah. There's a couple scenes in this. Like I said, um, there's an eye. Like man, if anyone knows Lucio Fulci, his films, for whatever reason, he likes to do violence to eyes. I don't know. It's effective, I guess. And the eye scene in this, like there's yeah, there's an eye violence scene in this. It made me shiver. I'm like, ugh, God, it's gross. But it just feels real. Like just like Maniac, like you feel like you're watching like an actual serial killer killing someone. Like you're witnessing it. It just feels real, really real and authentic. And that's what this film feels like for me. Yeah, very tough to watch at times. But you know, so if you're not into that, I would stay away from this because it's not for like if I would have sat down with my wife and it's like, hey, let's watch the New York Ripper. She would have been angry with me after this is over, I think, because she'd be like, why would you make me watch something like this? So it's not for everybody, but for sick, twisted people like me who enjoy these movies, it was great. So yeah, the violence in this is just over the top, mean spirited, very like I said, misogynistic. Yeah. Now, as much violence as there is in this, it's equal parts sex and nudity. There is a ton of sex and nudity in this film. Like I said, it's like half violence, half sex, and like it's just that you put them together, and it just feels sleazy. There's a couple scenes that it's just, I tell you, it's just it's hard to, it's not hard to watch. It's just, yeah, it just makes your skin crawl a little. Like you're just like, I shouldn't be watching this. This shouldn't be on film. So it's yeah, man, it's an interesting film. A lot of nudity, a lot of nudity, and just strange sexual situations. I won't get into it, but there's a couple. There's one involving some toves, and it's bizarre. Um, so yeah, the one of the things that people talk about with this film that they find really weird is the killer. While they're either talking on the phone to like the detective, like taunting, or talking as they're killing the women, they kind of talk like Donald Duck, like they quack like a duck and they talk like Donald Duck, and people think that's really strange and it's odd. It is. It's odd. It's at a place. It kind of, once the film plays out, it there's a reason for it. It kind of makes sense. So, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like, some people have an issue with it. I had no issue with it. It kind of works somehow. It makes, with the twistedness of the violence and the sex, it just kind of adds, and it just works. It just kind of fits. So, the duck quacking, um, as odd as it is, it's not too bad. Um, so yeah, and then the end of the film, like the last thing I'll talk about the film, the ending, this is it had a decent mystery to it. The with the giallo genre, that's a big part of it. Like who did it, who done it, that kind of thing. The plot's a little convoluted. There's a little messiness that probably didn't need to be there. But it kept me guessing. I think through the course of the film there was like two or three people. I'm like, it could be this person. No, maybe it kept me guessing a little bit. And they threw in a couple of red herrings. So I thought in terms of the mystery, they did a good job. I enjoyed it. When it was all said and done, when the reveal, I was satisfied. So I was, in terms of that, I really liked it. Um, so yeah, so that's basically it for this film. Like I said, I really liked this. I really liked this film. I added it to my 80 slasher rankings, and it's up there. I think it cracked my top 20. I can't remember exactly where I put it, but it's high on the list. It's been a long time since I've watched a new film, and it's gone in my top 20. I really like this. Like I said, the violence, the sex, the sleaziness, um, the quirkiness of like the giallo slash slasher genre, the mystery. There was just a whole bunch about this that I liked. So if it's one of these films where I warn people, if what I've just said, there's some things in there that you're like, oh, I don't know if I like that. I don't. That sounds disturbing. Then it's probably not for you. But if you like that kind of stuff, if you like these twisted films and you're kind of desensitized to it from watching all these films, this is a good one. I really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, it's really fun. Um, so the Blu-ray itself, like I said, this is, like I said, Blue Underground released this. This is an older release. Like I said, if you want the best possible picture quality, there's two releases that they've released since then. There's a 4K remastered Blu-ray that apparently looks amazing, and then there's an actual 4K Ultra HD disc that just came out as well that apparently looks incredible. And I'm sure they are. Um, I have a 4K TV, I have a 4K player that upscales Blu-rays to 4K. This looked fantastic to me. Like, I'm perfectly happy for $15. The way this looked, I won't be buying the $40 to $50 upgraded versions of this. This looked great. The audio looked fine. It's got that weird dubbing because there's Italian actors dubbing, but then even the American actors in this, they put a different Italian actor to say the words, so it's dubbed. It's weird. Yeah, the audio in these films are always a little weird, but yeah, it looks good. This is if you can get this version for a good price now, like I said, especially since like the other two versions came out, this has dropped. Nobody seems to want this anymore. I would just buy this if you can get it on Amazon or eBay somewhere, 10, 15, even $20, it's worth it. Special features, if you're a big special features guy, you may want to get the other two because this one barely has anything. There's only three things here. There's an interview with one of the actresses. There's New York City's location then and now, which is pretty cool, because back in the early 80s, like I said, New York City was a grimy, sleazy, like the areas that they showed in this down in the subway, and they've cleaned it all up now. It's all touristy now and stuff, so that's cool. And then they just have the theatrical trailer, so that's it. There's not a lot. It's a pretty bare bones release, but if you just want the movie, which is what I wanted it for, this is a good one. Um, so yeah, that's about it, guys. So overall, like I'm two thumbs up. This was great. I can't wait to revisit this. Like I said, you have to be in a certain mood to watch the New York Ripper because if you're feeling something light, skip this one and go for something a little different. But if you're looking for a little sleaze, a little trash, I don't think there's a better film. Like I said, the only other one would be Maniac, and yeah, I don't know where I rank these. I can't remember on my list, but like they're very similar. Like I feel like they're like sister films almost. Um, in some regards. In some regards, they're very different. Maniac's more of a psychological examination of the mind. This is more of a police procedural, so they differ like that. But the tone of the films are very similar. The violence, all that stuff. So yeah, it's in that category. I highly recommend this. So yeah, pick it up, or watch it again. So that's it. So all you guys who've subscribed, um, thanks so much. I'm getting a lot of people watching the videos who aren't subscribed. So if you enjoy them, hit the subscribe button. It does help a lot. I'm putting a video out. I try to put one out once a week. So yeah, hit the subscribe. It's a big help. All the people that are commenting, it's great. I'm not getting a ton of comments, but I'm getting enough, and it's great. I'm trying to write back to everybody, and yeah, I just like to get the conversation going about all this genre of film, all these old films. It's fantastic. So yeah, subscribe, comment, hit the like button. All that stuff helps. And all right, until next time, guys. All right, see ya.